Welcome to All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast hosted by Rhodey and Diz. The boys will share their tall tales of the one that got away, as well as some regular segments they know all you fishing tragics will enjoy.
G'day guys, welcome to episode 9 of All the Gear But No Idea, the South Australian fishing podcast. Diz, how are you, mate?
Good, thank you, mate. How are you going?
Yes, very well. And we've got a really good insight today into a very topical piece of news. The recreational fishing licences have been all the chat.
Oh, it has been. All over social media, everyone's pitching in, and boy does it open a Pandora's box once you start asking those sort of questions.
Certainly does, and we've gone right to the top. We've got Graham Keegan, he's the chair of MRFAC, so they're running this survey. So it'll be really good to get an insight from him, won't it?
It will. We can't wait to hear from him. It will be fantastic. But we do need to get through the regular segments, Rhodey, and we're going to kick us off with oranges and lemons. Give it to us, mate. What's your lemon?
My lemon. We're starting with the bad this week, are we?
We are. We're starting with the bad.
The weather's been really awful, hasn't it? Last weekend, rained, wind. This weekend, forecast not looking great.
Yeah, no chance you're getting out in the Renegade.
Nah, once we get the new boat, we'll be out there, though.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, my lemon this week has been long weekend, went out fishing. Everything was lined up, wasn't it, mate?
Tides were good, weather was good.
Tides were good. And we just toiled away. We toiled away for nothing. We got nothing that day. Nothing of note.
2 squid.
Very, very disappointing. But that is fishing, and I'm glad to get the lemons out of the way. Give us your orange, Rhodey.
Well, as this COVID wraps up, what I've really been looking forward to, apart from the fishing and the travel to come back, is the footy. And the footy's back. The power got the job done. Big win.
Oh, yeah.
Our boy Tommy Jonas was up and about in the prison bars.
He was the prison. He was really good, and I can't help but feel like we played a role in that.
We were actually watching the showdown together, Diz, and we did say every time we went near it, saying he looks a bit better since he came on this podcast.
Yeah, we got him up and about for it, I reckon.
What do you got for us? What's your orange, mate?
Well, it was fantastic to get away for the long weekend, actually. We sort of talked probably about a month ago, and the June long weekend, once things started to slow down on the COVID front, was looking like it was going to be a good chance to get away, and it lined up. The weather was fantastic. Got down to the York Peninsula, had a great time there, ducked into Clare, froze our backside off. It was freezing down there with troll man Bill, but we had a good time, didn't we? We
did. Got a few fish on the Saturday too. We got a dozen whiting, I think, didn't we? Which was nice.
We did. It was good to get a feed of tings. That was good fun. All right, that wraps up oranges and lemons. Rhodey, give the listeners out there a bit of a merch update. I suppose it's a bit of a teaser.
Yeah, a bit of a tease for you. So we have got a sample of the cap. We've got a cap coming to you. So shout out to Will Swale and the One Rundle Trading Co. mob. They've been doing some of their finest for us, and that is in the pipeline. So that will be, it'll be here pretty soon.
Yes, yeah, it's good to see. COVID slowing down means merch coming faster from China, really, doesn't it?
Perfect. And we're gonna get onto Ange and order some more stubbies. So we've sold out of the first batch of them. So so that's been really good. And let us know if you do want any, because they are on their way too.
They were a hit, really, weren't they? What colour are we going, do you reckon?
I think we do one more of the same, and then maybe we mix it up.
Interesting.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, not a bad shout. Can't remember the colours, but you're the boss of that, mate. So we'll go with you.
Well, you're colourblind, mate. So I'm not sure why you're even bothered.
Fair. All right, give us a summary today, Rhodey. What do we got except for Graham Keegan, the chairman of MRFAC? What else have we got?
Yeah, so we've got a bit of fishing news. Then we'll chat with Graham. We're going to go a little bit into some more depth about the recreational licence and what happens in other states, which would be good to get a bit of background.
Yep.
And then, as always, the fishing report, so you can see where they're biting. And I think I've got the joke this week, mate.
You do, so I'm looking forward to...
I better jump on Google while we're chatting here.
At that. Okay, well, let's hook into it. Fishing news this week. Let's start off with a really good news story about some fishing action off Marion Bay. Rhodey, big old 92 fat, big SBT came in off the Real Action charter boat. They got him in amongst some schoolfish, didn't they?
They did. So, real action. Mark Snadden is the man in charge. He hooked a 92 kilo fish off Marion Bay, which is very rare down in that area. I've certainly never heard of them getting them really anywhere but the southeast of the state.
Yeah. Look, it would have been an absolute thrill. And look, I dare say we might need to give Mark a call and see whether that's a record for his boat. I would have thought it would be.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Apparently, the fight lasted 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, that would have been an absolute thrill pulling that thing over. All right, and the Australian Salmon Fishing Championship, Rhodey, down at Elliston. I've seen some stuff around Facebook. Brenton Bock got some really good fish, 3.362 kilograms. That was the week 2 mystery weight winner. It runs for quite a while.
I think August 31 is the end of it, so you've got plenty of time to get over to the west coast and catch a big old salmon.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good fun they are.
I'm sure we're going to see some more action to come. Flacky is doing some great stuff, isn't he? Troll So Hard Lures. They've got a fantastic deal on at the moment, Rhodey. Give the listeners the deets, mate.
Yeah, so Flacky's giving 15% off orders up until June 30. I think they were orders over $100 where they did.
I can't remember, mate, but that just absolutely stinks of a stock take sale from Flacky, doesn't it?
And those lures have been doing some damage this year.
Smashing the tune.
Yeah, I'm just checking now. It is any order over $100 up until the end of the month, June 30. Flacky will give you 15% off. And that's a thank you for everyone's support over the COVID period.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And I reckon that means if we clear him out, he's going to be coming up with some new innovative things like the wings on his tuna. He'll do some good stuff, no doubt.
Yeah, he's a good man, Flacky.
He is. And it's great that he's a friend of the show. We love having him on. The prawn fishing bycatch, Rhodey. You've been doing some digging on this, mate. I've seen it do the rounds on Facebook. What's going on?
So I thought this was an interesting little piece of research out from Sardi. So they estimated the biomass of the bycatch from the prawn fishing fleet in South Australia. Yep. So they trawled 120 sites and caught 395 individual species. They then calculated that to represent the whole of the catch.
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting that leather jackets and blue swimmer crabs were caught more than the target species.
Go your hardest on the leatheries, though, for mine.
Thoughts? I think you'll have some greenies up in arms with that comment, mate, but there is nothing worse than thinking you've caught a big whiting and it turns out to be a leathery.
Blue swimmer crabs, though, that is interesting. I mean, it makes sense, obviously, but larger than the target species is very interesting.
So the prawn fishers are permitted to keep and sell Balmain bugs and calamari, I believe. And they actually caught 10% of the total calamari catch.
Wow. More than old mate with no shirt on out there last week.
I wouldn't be saying that, mate. I reckon he caught 10 squid to our 2.
He did. They catch a massive amount of snapper too, don't they?
Yeah. They estimated 25 tonne of snapper caught annually. And King George whiting, cuttlefish and flathead were among the 19 species that were over 25 tonne.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, really. That was a good piece of research, and thank you for digging around on the net, mate. That's fantastic. Where do they have to, the listeners, they've got to save a date?
Yep, so the COD Comp, the closing weekend, July 24 to 26 at Cadell. That is hosted by the Lower Murray Lure Fishing Club.
Kim Manning be lurking around there, you reckon?
I'm sure he would. I'd just like you to say the Lower Murray Lure Fishing Club as fast as you can 10 times.
No, mate.
That's a real tongue twister.
Listeners don't want that. But you're right. It's a free event. Barbecue dinner, Saturday night, club prezos, the whole gear. It's going to be a good night. Get down there.
Why not, mate? And just get in before the end of the cod season, which is the 31st of July.
Yes, and the final bit of fishing news, the MRFAC survey. Get amongst it. We're going to talk to Graham Keegan later. He's going to have some details. It's doing the rounds on Facebook. We're going to share the MRFAC page, and you have to get around it. We've got to have our say, don't we, Rudy?
Yes, and there's a couple of surveys on the go. There's the really popular, talked about one about the recreational fishing licence that's been copping a lot of media attention, but they're also asking for some feedback about the marine parks.
Yes, they are. I've seen the marine parks one. I have jumped on and done it, but we're going to share that page so the listeners can get around it.
And Graham will give us a bit of an update on both of those surveys coming up soon.
Yes, we can. When's that survey open till, Rhodey?
So I think the rec fishing one is open until the 15th of July. It's a Survey Monkey to talk about what are the priorities of the recreational fisher people, basically.
Yeah, and that's Graham and the MRFAC committee. They're going to present those findings directly to the minister, and then they're going to make some decisions based on that, aren't they?
They are.
Which is why it's so important to jump on there and have your say. So get around it.
Yeah. So now, as well as obviously Graham's going to give us some really good insight into this as well, we thought we'd give you a bit of a background on what happens around the country, so you've got something to sort of compare to.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's a good point. Not all states and territories have a fishing licence.
They don't.
But I would think that it's probably fair to say the majority of them do. And Victoria have got an interesting setup, haven't they? $37 a year. You can get a 3-day licence for 10, 28-day licence for 21, and there's a 3-year option which you can get for a bit cheaper, around $100.
Yeah, and they also have exemptions for under 18s, over 70s, pension cards, or Indigenous Australians.
They do.
And
New South Wales is very similar.
Yeah, very similar. $7 for a 3-day pass, and goes up from there. Both New South Wales and Victoria give out plastic licence cards for 1 or 3-year options, or just a printed receipt for the shorter term ones.
And you buy them at sort of tackle shops?
I think a lot of them are online now.
Okay.
I know when we used to fish as kids in Victoria, you'd duck into a tackle shop or a country server or whatever and pick them up.
It's probably similar to your sort of national park.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are online now.
Yeah, all right. And what's going on in Tassie? They've got a licence for inland waterways, including private dams, $75 for 1 adult, 1 rod, 1 season.
Yeah, and that's no licence for marine fishing in Tassie.
Okay, so you can get out there on the sea and do what you want.
Yep. WA has $40 for a rec licence, only to fish from a boat. If you want to go down your local jetty, no fee required.
Go your hardest. All right, and so that's pretty much a wrap-up of the rest of the country. That leaves Queensland, Northern Territory, ACT and South Australia, no licences.
Yes.
Hold your breath on the SA one, though. We're going to get some good insights from Graham just now, and he's going to tell us about what's to come. Okay, welcome to the show. Graham Keegan, Chairman of the MRFAC. Rhodey, what's it stand for, mate?
So the Minister's Recreational Fishing Advisory Committee. Have I got that right, Graham? Council.
Oh, that's a real blow.
Sir.
That's a real blow for Rhodey there for the listeners.
It's a big, long mouthful, guys.
It is, Graham. We are two very jealous men. We are wishing that we're in your position. We love what you're doing at MRFAC, and we've certainly kept up to date with everything that's going on, and it's an absolute pleasure of ours to have you on the show, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Look, it's a labour of love, and at the end of the day, someone had to stand up, and fight for our rights and try and move us forward. So, for me, it's timing. I fought for a long time with a lot of other people to get to this point. So, I welcome that, boys. Thank you.
Yeah, good to hear, Graham. Now, we're going to start off with the 5 questions that we ask all our guests. So, first up,
Yes.
Tell us about your best fish, mate.
Yeah, I thought about that long and hard. Look, I make marlin and tuna lures. So, being a regular visitor to Bermagui for 20 years, I was there in 91 and I'd carved some lures out of balsa wood and put skirts on them because I only ever sold a lure that caught fish. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I went solo fishing off the shelf this day to try my lures, and a 155-kilo striped marlin jumped on one of them.
Ooh.
And I landed it and boated it myself on one of my own lures.
Geez, you would have been busy with the gaff and all the gear.
I held him beak up and I rocked the boat and used leverage. I got about a centimetre each time till the bugger fell on me, but I've got pictures to prove it. So that was a highlight for me. Getting a fish on a lure you designed. Yeah, there's nothing better.
Yeah, I bet that would be a real thrill. I'm sure of that. And Graham, what's your favourite thing about fishing?
Look, I think for me, I thought about that as well. It's the peace. It takes my worries away. It's the place where I can think and I feel most home. And I think it's the immense satisfaction of planning your fishing and turning that into success. I really enjoy that, thinking about a spot and going, what, I reckon I got that suss and making it work. That feeling of accomplishment really hits home for me.
It's been a bit of a theme. We've had that sort of answer from a few of our guests, so certainly that's what a lot of people think about fishing.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. When I'm out there, all the troubles I've got running my own business, and I get to think about the future of fishing here in the MRFAC. That's when I'm away from the noise. So, when I really want to think, you'll find me down the Onky somewhere, sitting behind a bush.
So, Graham, what was your first fishing memory, or what got you into fishing?
Yeah, okay, so I come from the bottom end of Port Phillip Bay, a town called Sorrento. I grew up in a fishing town with fishing uncles. They're all commercial fishermen, mainly handlining for whiting or taking cooter boats out into the strait for cooter, of course. And I used to get, when I was a kid, mate, we're not taking you fishing, you don't do it for fun. And they'd look at each other and go, what's wrong with that kid? Is he weird or something? Right? But I remember sitting on the local jetty and watching the reefies around the poles and not getting them to bite. And one night down the beach with the family, I was watching the seagulls compete for chips. And I thought, that's the secret. So the next day I went down there and I started what you would probably call cubing today.
Yes.
Set a few pieces down, getting them to throw caution to the wind, and then they get a hook. And that took me all the way to yellowfin tuna fishing the works. So that's where I started, and that was a poison for me because I've spent a lot of money on fishing ever since.
Welcome to the club on that front, Graham.
Yeah, we can all sympathise with that, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, that's where it started for me. I was blessed. I lived in a little fishing village for 30 years and it was paradise. And when I left, the fishing was down the toilet and I moved here and I found a place that was going down here, and now I pine for home because they've got it right in Victoria now.
Yeah. My mum grew up just near there in Rosebud, so I know that area well, and it's a very nice part of the world down there.
I was born in that hospital in 1962.
Well,
so
yeah,
there
wow.
you go. Yeah.
It's a small world.
It sure is.
And Graham, you mentioned cubing, mate. Is that the favourite sort of fishing, or what is it? What's your favourite sort of fishing?
Pretty close. Growing up on Port Phillip Bay, I absolutely love my shallow water, unweighted snapper fishing. Floating baits out in a burley trail with loose drags. It's not the most efficient way of hooking fish, but that noise of that reel still gets me today. That scream. Yeah. So, yeah, I miss it. We all miss it for a few years, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And sorry, you go.
Yeah, that's the number one for me, I think.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. And Graham, tell us about your funniest fishing story or the one that got away.
Oh, get ready for it. So, I had two blokes in the boat at Bermagui one day and we went, let's go up to Montague Island. That's, about 14 miles up the coast and jig amongst the rest of the boats for kingfish. So we get up this morning and barrel up and it's foggy and misty and we get amongst the boats and down go the jigs, and then I started to notice that the 20 boats around me, everyone was nude. It was nude fishing day, right? Yeah. I look at it going, it's up rock here at the middle of June and it's nude fishing day. And then the two characters in the boat with me took their gear off and went, God, Graham, let's join in here. No. So I'm watching everyone catching kingfish and flicking jigs for the next 3 or 4 hours naked. It's a great story. It's burned a hole in my retina.
So is that one of the initiatives that MRFAC's going to introduce to South Australia then, Graham?
Oh, it depends on the clientele.
We were out fishing last weekend and it was bitterly cold, and we came across a commercial squidding bloke and he was standing there. We sort of saw him from a distance in a jumper which looked to be sort of skin colour. As we got closer we realised he was fishing without a shirt on, so we thought he was pretty mad, but it wasn't nude fishing day, so I'm glad I wasn't there for that one.
Well, I hear that they have one of these events at Alliston each year out in the boats, one of the clubs there.
Ooh.
So it's caught on.
We might put that in the calendar for next year, Diz.
We might have to. All right, well, that's a very good insight there to your fishing story, Graham. Thank you very much for that. We're just going to move on to a bit of a chat now, mate, and certainly very topical at the minute, the MRFAC survey. Talk us through it. What's it all about?
All right. Well, there's a lot of misinformation, so let's get it right, boys. We're charged with putting a strategic plan together for the next 5 years. There's been 2 in the past. So basically with that plan, you go to government and say, this is what we're working on and this is what we expect to get out of the next 5 years, okay? Now, that was due out of me last year, or the MRFAC, and we refused to do it because Snapper's closed. We don't have a commercial fishery reform finished yet. We have an unknown future. And we weren't going to put our name on a document and decide the future of fishing in that scenario. Now, how can you? Like, pretty scary time. So, in the end, the minister said to us a couple of months ago, okay, go out, do a roadshow and ask the people what they want. Now, we were ready. Booking halls, we were ready. Then COVID hit. So, back to the drawing boards, right? Now, we have to have this plan in. It's legislated. We have to have it in. So, then we decided, all right, we'll put a survey out, okay? Now, this survey is nothing more than informing the strategic plan moving forward, because we'll write the plan around the consensus, okay? Now, it's a fair survey because half the camp wants an RFL, the other half don't. We weren't prepared to put one out that's biased. It's warts and all. It gives everybody a chance to have a say. Now, if one of the items comes up, let's say the RFL came up, for instance, then we would put it in detail, workshop it, and take it to consultation.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So all it is right now is getting a mood from the people. Oh, geez, did we get a mood, eh? And informing where we head next, okay? Because if no RFL gets up, then we're going to sit there and go, okay, well, we want to do these things over the next 5 years. Where's the money coming from?
Yes.
All right? So and I tell you, the information and the data and everything that we're getting already from this survey is off tap. We're in the multiple thousands of people that have done the survey, and it's still got 4.5 weeks to go.
Yeah, amazing.
So this will be the biggest feedback our sector's had ever, no matter what happens.
Yeah, so basically, Graham, this is sort of the early groundwork to just get a vibe, and then you'll explore the main details further on. That's the vibe of it?
Yeah. So I think it's going to, the way this is going, it's probably going to take 8 weeks for this to sit down, because we're going to read these things properly. Everyone's going to have their say, all right? We're going to sit down and read it. We'll put every one of those surveys up on our website so people can do their own analysis if they want. And then we'll come back to everyone and say, hey, this is the consensus moving forward. Now what do you want us to do?
Yes.
All right? So that's all it is right now. It's created a lot of emotion, and I've learned a lot from it, right? I now know how some sectors think.
Yeah.
As chair, I can't be biased either way, and I won't be, but I'll answer questions either way. So that's what it's all about right now, guys. It's about, the MRFAC was always about giving the angler in the street a voice. In the past, we didn't have a lot of say.
Yes.
Now you've got to say, you can ring me, we're doing surveys, it's all out there now, warts and all. It's not perfect, we're learning, but we're sticking to our mandate, and that is getting amongst our own anglers.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, Graham, you make, is certainly having a voice for the recos out there is a fantastic thing. So we really, really love the work, mate, there, and I suppose, given that it is those really early stages, I guess there hasn't been much work into looking at what those fees might be, or whether they're short-term licences. What's happening there, or are we not quite there yet?
Well, look, I can give you some maybes, and there's a few problems with the rec fishing licences interstate. It looks good, but there is issues, and we can learn from that. So let's say we landed on an RFL, that the consensus came up and said, we want one. I would imagine that, I'd be pretty sure that the money would be held in a trust outside of government completely. Now, the trust in Victoria, they got it wrong, right? There's a few issues there. We can learn from this, okay? So if it got up, then I would give a guarantee that we wouldn't even do it unless that was watertight.
Yes.
Now, I would imagine that process would be then a group of guys like yourselves could put a submission in for money. You might put a submission in for putting fish in the onk, a stocking program, or fads, or it'll be purely for recreational fishing and only that. Now, what I'm getting thrown at me is somewhere between $30 and $40 a year for an annual licence is fair. That's what I'm getting, okay?
And that's similar to interstate, I think, isn't it, Graham?
Yeah, similar models to interstate. But what I've learnt in the last 2 days is we do have a lower income class and families that are a bit worried now that it's going to impact on their family outing on the jetty.
Yes.
So that's the space that my head's trying to get around right now. How do you balance that against the guys that want to put money in and get extra stuff out of this fishery, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think the rhetoric I get from everybody that wants an RFL, it's not out there to replace, you know, the boat ramp levy or rock capping. They generally want to do some better things in the fishery, you know. It's a split argument right now, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly from what I've heard and what I've read is the diehard fishermen are more than happy to pay the $50 or whatever it is a year to get some funding and to get a bit of a say in terms of decision making. But it sounds like the dad and his son that go fishing once in a blue moon probably have an issue with it. Is that the vibe that you get?
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting, and I'm looking at WA, and I think beach and jetty fishing's free, and there's only an RFL or so for boats. I might be wrong there.
Yeah, no, that's what I read today as well. So I think that's right, Graham.
Yeah. So I think it's early stages, and we're thinking, and we're open to ideas, but we've got a month to go yet, boys, and another 8 weeks to decipher it. And if something came up, I would imagine a consultation process, and whatever comes up's 18 months away.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think you're right, Graham, that we do have the ability to analyse what's happening across the country in other states, like you've mentioned. We can see what they have done well and what they haven't, and land on something that really suits our state and is a win for everybody, because you're right, we have our uniqueness, but I think by and large it'll be a good thing if we get this process right. So I think you're on the right track there.
Well, I think my assurance to the community is if something gets up, then we'll make sure it's for Rex and only for Rex. That's my commitment. But look, sit back. I've been here 25 years and I'm still a Mexican apparently, right? And I sit back and I look at a fishery where we are treated as second-class citizens. We are way behind the rest of Australia. And while everyone tells me to stick an RFL and the whole works, none of them are coming up with suggestions on how to get a better fishery. Well, the way we're going, this is probably going to be our last chance for a decade, and nothing's going to change if we don't change anything, hey?
Yes, exactly right.
It's that simple. Yeah. So all the ones that are saying no and stick it, well, they're welcome to message me and tell me how to do it differently. If they've got an idea for me,
Yeah, I suppose that's the vibe we're getting. You're open to ideas and you're happy for people to have their opinions and give their thoughts on it, which is really good.
Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. That's what it's about. And it's a hell of a ride right now. Trust me. I've got a few bullets.
And on that note, we had a few questions from some of our listeners for you, Graham, if you're happy for us to hit you up with them.
Let's do it.
So Mark Hosking asks, where is the money from the licence going to go to? Is it for restocking fish or something else? Do we get the vibe it's probably going to be spread across a number of areas?
Look, it'll be in that, if it happens, it'll be in that trust fund. It'll be up to people to put submissions to a panel to cost and look at the validity. I personally wouldn't like to see it go to boat ramps where we already bloody pay, right? Yes. But maybe floodlights and cleaning tables are on the radar. I wouldn't want to let the council off their commitments when we pay for a boat ramp launch and they keep the $250,000 in their pocket and we go and pay for it. Let's not let the government and councils off where they should pay. My view would be it would be for improving our lot, not replacing where it should be spent by our taxes already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Good to hear about the boat ramps because they certainly slug you enough there these days, don't they?
Absolutely.
Look, it's a double tax. You launch your boat. The government, we pay in our boat levy from high water out to sea, and from high water inland we pay the council. Now, I look at O'Sullivan's Beach boat ramp and I go, well, we pay all that money and all they do is collect rubbish.
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry, but I think there's something wrong.
Yeah, I completely agree. We
we don't want to let them off the hook and start paying for those things when we already pay guys.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, couldn't agree with you
Yeah.
more there. And Graham, we've got Daniel Way. He's hoping for a bit of an update on marine park consultation. Can you give us any insights there?
Yeah, now, it's very telling right now. Wreck anglers were burnt during the marine park process. We have your say running consultation now on marine parks, and I actually have a survey out now to give everyone a chance for a voice. Now, looks like nobody still trusts that marine park process because bugger all are doing that survey and we're getting run over on the RFL survey.
Yes.
So I think that's a sign of a lack of trust in that department and the marine park process. But we have a survey up as well for marine parks. Jump on it, boys, because this is your last chance for 3 years. I think the end of the 10-year trial period is 3 years away.
Yeah.
So we wrote up a survey to make it easier for people. That is on our website, okay?
Sounds like we need to promote that one a bit for you then, Graham.
I think you boys need to promote it because, it's a tough process. The science came back saying they don't need to change anything. I was involved in a stakeholder meeting with commercials and conservationists last year, and we couldn't come to a consensus on it. So I just walked away and said, look, I'm not going to sign off on what was decided in this room. That's why there's a survey up right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did manage, however, to sneak back in fishing at Salt Creek because that's a travesty. We lost that area.
Yes.
And we need that back, and we need that, we need his shop open again, and we need that access. So I managed to get that in there, but very, very tough game when you're up against conservationists when the science backs them. Trust me.
Yeah, and it's good to have that back open, and it's a really good area.
Yeah, so we've put a survey up that people need to jump on. They should not be afraid of it. It's a MRFAC survey, okay? So if they want a voice and have their say on marine parks, I've set it up for them.
Beautiful. Thanks, Graham. One more from the listeners. David from Savage Tackle. He wants to know, will there be some sort of a guarantee that all this money isn't going to go into, admin fees and other things like that? He suggested, could there be, like a minimum of 75% has to go directly into fishing? Would that be something that would be considered?
Well, absolutely. I think it's an interesting space because people forget things, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Let's say we collected $1.5 million, all right? Now, before we even go out to process, we would tell people the commitment to admin, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's really interesting right now because we pay permits for the reservoirs, and Jude decided to admin it outside those permits. So 100% of that money goes to stocking.
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting space for us right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, the other thing is, $1.5 million, boys, not a lot of money. The ramp levy only collects us 2.2 mil a year, right?
Yeah.
So be sure you would still have a levy at your ramps.
Yes.
If you had RFL. There isn't enough people and money in this state. But I can tell you this, what if there was a project like the ramp upgrade at O'Sullivan's? We could walk over to Minister Knowles' office and say, hey, we'll cough up half if you match it dollar for dollar.
Yes.
You're not stuck with the 1.5. You can turn it into 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
that's a great point.
Yeah, I think everyone's got to step back and go, hang on a minute, if we had a pot of gold, would people be going, hey, hang on a minute, we better respect that sector? Yeah, I'm sure that's the case. I really do think that way,
Yeah.
I see both sides of the coin, but I went to VR Fish last year in Victoria, and rec fishing's king.
Yes.
We're second cousins here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want us to go out and destroy commercial fishing, but our fisheries act plainly says it should be shared.
Yes.
Okay, and it's not happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do we make that happen? I think we get united and we get somehow get some money in a kitty and go, yeah, that's got to stop now.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, we really do look forward to seeing what's happening, and we appreciate your work along the way so far, Graham. And thanks again to the listeners for their questions in, and we appreciate you answering those, Graham. That's great.
No worries. You're welcome, boys.
Mate, just a couple more before you go, because we would love to know what's on the horizon with MRFAC. What's on the agenda? Can you give us any insights?
Yeah, look, I'm about to go into the Snapper Mac, right, which will design next year's rollout of the Southeast. Yeah. We'll get to hear about the first lot of Snapper science from this summer gone. I think there was 52 science projects, so I'm champing at the bit to find out where we stand.
That'd be really interesting,
Yeah, I'm really hoping that, we've had some spawning success and we can start talking about the future. That's going to happen in July. So, it's been a long wait. I really want to get in there and find out. We are on a committee now designing how to do a better survey. Right, we've had surveys in the past that we think are dubious.
Yeah.
There's $1 million up at the moment to design a better one, and I'm on that panel.
Yeah.
We'll launch that survey in November, and it starts tomorrow. So I'm excited about finding a way to do a better survey, better numbers. Let's find out who fishes, what we catch, and how much we're worth. Because at the moment, all the figures are dubious. So that's exciting. What else are we doing? Because of COVID, the stocking for the reservoirs that we had planned has slowed down. Yeah. But now the borders are opening. Well, I imagine the trout will go into my ponga sometime in the next 2 months. We've got Happy Valley stocking. I can't give you all that info now, but there's more stocking for the Warren, Bundalia, Beetaloo, South Para. We're still rolling with the stocking program this year. I spoke to SA Water last week, and it's not far off now until we open some more stretch of land based on my ponga. That was all about water filtration, and that's been solved now. So, and I believe it'll be kayaking early next year in there. So we've got some really good projects under the way in that area. We're talking about subcommittees, so we can get a strong team of people up the Murray, maybe a subcommittee on citizen science, and on and on and on. Like, it's endless, boys, but we're working on it as we go. If anyone wants to know what we're doing at any time, it's on the website. We put the minutes.
We'll make sure we share your website and make sure everyone can access all that information. But that sounds like, all those projects sound like what the recreational anglers want to hear. So that's really good, Graham.
Don't forget, we're your voice. So if a recreational angler or a group says, hey, I want the MRFAC to look at something, write to us, send a submission in, because we will put it in front of the MRFAC and look at it and get back to you.
And Graham, when you talked about the subcommittees, Dizzy's hand went straight up. So if you need anyone to be a bit of an expert, he's putting his hand up.
Yeah, well, the subcommittees I'm thinking about are think tanks. They're people that are good and experts in their area that can inform me and advise me or the MRFAC on things, all right? So, I'll talk to him about that.
I'm just not sure what his area of expertise is, though, Graham. That might be your only issue.
Well, I just hope it's not nude fishing.
Right, Graham, you've been a great guest. Really appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time to answer some really, really good questions, and you've given us a great insight into MRFAC, mate. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, boys. I appreciate the time with you guys, and anytime you want to talk to me, you know where I am.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot, Graham.
All right, good night.
See you, mate.
Bye. That was really good to hear from Graham Rohde. Now it's time for your opinion, mate. What is it on the RFL? Do we or don't we?
I'm a yes. I think we should have a recreational licence. Give us a bit of funding. By all what I hear from Graham, and I'm confident that they're going to spend it well. It's going to be well thought out about what that fund goes to, and it certainly sounds like all the money will end up in fishing. As long as that happens, I'm a yes.
Yeah, I know why you're a yes, mate, because you need all the bloody help you can get to catch a fish. So the more money they pour into stocking and things, you'll be half a sniff.
What about you, mate?
Yes, look, I'm with you. I'm a yes. I think they're going to do the right thing. As much as, it's not right to just trust the government. I think if they take the learnings from other states and they implement something new and innovative here, I'm sure it'll be a fantastic thing for the recos in the state.
And I think, from what I've read, and, you read the Facebook comments, and it seems like a lot of the negativity is from the casual fisherman who fishes a little bit here and there. But as long as they follow a similar model to interstate, where it's $7 for a 3-day pass in New South Wales. So if you go away to Yorks or Victor Harbour for the weekend, $7 is it's a coffee or a pie at the servo. It's nothing.
Yeah, and I think they will make exemptions for those groups of people who may find it harder to pay for that.
Yes,
I think that's
and that was
fair.
in the survey. I've had a look at it, and it does. I think it's under 15s or over 60s from memory.
Yeah, whatever it might be, they need to make those concessions. It's only the right thing to do, which I'm sure they'll do. And if we jump on there, give our opinion, I'm sure they'll listen if we get the right numbers up there.
Certainly, and we will share both the recreational fishing survey and the marine park survey that Graham also wanted everyone to get behind and give an opinion on, because that does, raise a lot of issues, I suppose, for us recos.
It does. More to come on that, and we'll keep you posted in future episodes. Let's hook into the fishing report, Rhodey. What's going on around the state? Where are they getting them? What's happening? So
the squid are running hot. As we said, we were down at York Peninsula, ended up fishing out around Port Vincent, and the local pro was pillaging him.
He was smashing him. He was making us look like genuine rookies.
And it's no wonder he had his shirt off, because he was working hard.
He was working hard.
So plenty of fish around that side, that area of the York Peninsula, guys.
It was a lovely day, and he was cleaning up. The water clarity was good.
Yeah.
I think it was a good day for the squidders. The winter KGs, we got around a few on Saturday. We worked hard for them. We didn't really get amongst them on Friday. I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe just a significant case of all the gear, but no idea.
We came back and probably broke even on the Saturday, so we'll take that.
We did. And the Kingscote Jetty has just been blowing my mind.
That's got to be the best place in the state.
That has. They have just cleaned up over there, and what a time to get out, get amongst the regions, jump on the ferry and get over there, because you'll do well off the jetty.
And a couple of the Clare boys got over there for the recent weekend. So Ryan, Josh and Isaac were amongst a crew of Clare locals who went over, and they have got no idea.
I heard Ashlyn outfished them all combined.
She did. I believe that. Now, they managed to miss out on a whole day of fishing because they forgot about this little thing called the tides and got their boat beached.
Yeah, it's a worry.
But even they got whiting.
Yeah, I know.
So they've got to be there.
They must be thick there. Anyway, that was good that they tagged us on a bit of their Instagram and Facebook gear. That was really well appreciated, so well done, guys. They didn't get any salmon, though. I don't think they were chasing them. Where are the salmon biting, Rhodey?
Yep, so all the regular locations, Southport, Aldinga, Christie's, I think down at Wapinga they've been getting fish, and the Elliston comp, as we mentioned earlier, has been firing. So the West Coast has got plenty of salmon as always.
Yeah, good. Fantastic, the West Coast there, isn't it? If you can get yourself a four-wheeler and cruise up and down those beaches.
Certainly, mate.
Smash some
We've always talked about doing that trip. It's never quite eventuated, but it's on the list.
Yeah, I'd be up for that one day, that's for sure. Now, Rhodey, we were talking about this. Dabbing for garfish in the middle of winter. Can you do it, or are you just soft?
Well, I don't know.
I get out in the cold.
I weighed up the pros and cons, and I just couldn't quite drag you away from the fire. And it's a tough game to do on your own, really, isn't it? I'll just tell the listeners, you agreed to go dabbing with me on the recent weekend. These were the terms and conditions given. I had to swim out and get the boat off the moorings.
Fair.
Come back in, piggyback you to the boat.
Fair.
I had to drive the boat.
Fair.
And I had to man the net, smelly fish, and the light.
Might have gone a bit far there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I was going to do it. You were going to sit rugged up in the corner drinking froths.
That sounds like my kind of dabbing expedition. Although I was seeing some good reports locally. They were saying they were getting them sort of metro. So, next time we get a glassy night like that and it's winter, you're just going to have to rug up and get amongst it. What's next, Rhodey?
Yeah.
You're getting groper.
Yeah, a couple of blue groper. I saw a couple of photos on the social media, so they're getting around. Great catch if you can get one of them.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be a fantastic catch. And the Murray cod, certainly we've talked about this. The season is nearing an end. But Bow Hill has been fishing quite well. Definitely seen a few photos floating around on Facebook. I think everybody will be getting in hard before the end of the season.
Certainly will, mate. Mulloway have been biting. Our mate Johnny Giannini, big fan of the show. We shared a photo of a nice little mulloway he caught down at Salt Creek, down on the Coorong.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
He's better than us, really, isn't he, on the Coorong fishing?
He is. Yeah, we can't lie about that because we spent a good 2 or 3 days there with our good mate Pezzle, and we had baits in the water the whole weekend and didn't catch a single thing.
We might have to get onto the great man Adam Stewart and see what he's got to say about it.
Yeah, so God, it was good to hear from Graham saying he wants to get that shop up and running.
Yes,
again, wasn't it?
so we'll have to. We have spoken to Adam Stewart, so we'll get him on the show at some stage too.
Yeah, we can't wait. And one last thing for the fishing report. Certainly seen some barrel photos still floating around down the southeast. So if you haven't got any lures, hit Flacky up. If you've got the time or you've got the boat, then get down there because they only run for certain periods of the year. So get amongst them.
That's it for the fishing report, Diz.
Yes, yep, that was good. Fantastic stuff. We've got a recent bit of news for the listeners and a bit of an appreciation for the listeners.
Yeah, we got a nice little email pop through during the week saying we'd reached 1,500 downloads. So that's a little milestone, a little tick in the box.
Yeah, tick the box. That was good. Certainly a lot of them came from the first episode, but we've had some loyal listeners and we certainly appreciate it and we love you getting interactive on Facebook. So get amongst it. If you think Roddy's talking too much garbage, then let me know and I'll quieten him down for a little while. Thoughts?
No, bad shout.
All right. Anyway, we've talked about the merch.
We have cuts are coming soon. Stubby holders, second batch is on its way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the bit nobody's been waiting for. Roddy?
All right, mate. Here's the joke. Get ready for it. 3 priests were fishing on a boat when they ran out of bait. The first priest got up and walked across the water to get some more bait. After 2 hours, they ran out of bait again. So the second priest got up, went to get some more bait. He walked across the water and got the bait. After 3 hours of fishing, they ran out of bait again. The third priest said he would get some more bait this time. He stepped out of the boat and went straight to the bottom. The first priest turned to the second priest and asked, "Should we have told him where the rocks were?"
That is pathetic.
Score out of 10?
That's at best of 4.
Oh, harsh.
Shocking gear.
So if you've got any jokes, please send them in because we're really scraping the barrel.
And send me a harder riddle because I'd really like to get you undone on the riddle.
You'll
All right,
struggle.
guys. It was a good episode. We really appreciate Graham coming on. It was fantastic to hear from him, but certainly more to come, I think, on that front, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll chat about that in future episodes. So make sure you join us for them as well.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Rhodey and Diz hope you enjoyed today's episode of All the Gear But No Idea. Keep up to date by liking and sharing us on Facebook and Instagram. And you can subscribe on all the major podcast platforms. Until next time, good luck fishing.